Hello everyone and welcome to the Game Week 2 preview for CM Fantasy Football. How did your Week 1 go? It was 86 for me. Had Jääskeläinen on the bench, which cost me 4 points, so could have been 90 plus if I'd played Jääskeläinen. Bit of a shame, but I stuck with my data from the Week 1 preview and I stuck the Watford keeper in goal. Didn't come off that one. But never mind, pretty happy with 86. Apart from the Watford clean sheet not coming in and Wally not scoring, a fair amount of stuff that we looked at in the Week 1 preview came off, so I was pretty pleased with that. I'm under no illusions that there'll be weeks where CM throws out random results, super keeper results, and absolutely none of the stuff we look at will actually happen. So really pleased that didn't happen in Week 1, and hopefully some of you have come back for the Game Week 2 preview. So last thing before we jump into looking at the Game Week 2 fixtures, I just want to give a quick thank you to our current champion Luke, or @Disable, who gave me a few tips and hints to sharpen up the database on running my sims with. In particular, he's given me some tips on how to get the manager preferences sort of exactly the same as the game we're actually playing. So one thing I didn't realise is some managers have zeros in their stats in the database, which can change their preferences each time you load the game. So for example, Steve McLaren, he'll have zeros in some of his preferences in the database. So that can mean each time you load the game, you get a slightly different Steve McLaren. So you might get a Steve McLaren that has direct passing, short passing, mixed passing. It can be different each time. So thanks for Luke for pointing that out to me and helping me get all the managers set exactly as they are in the game we're actually playing. So I rerun the sims now. So we did pretty well out of Week 1, I'd say, but gives us an even better chance for Week 2 maybe. Okay, so on to the first fixture then, Aston Villa versus Chelsea. So I had time to do 20 sims this week, so gives us maybe an even better percent chance than last time. So 20 sims then of Aston Villa versus Chelsea. So Aston Villa are actually coming out on top in this for average goals. So they're averaging 1.6 goals a game in this. Chelsea 1.35, which is still pretty good. Still a high chance of them scoring with that. Villa just shaded it, 10 wins out of 20, compared to Chelsea's 8 out of 20. Villa again just shade it for clean sheets, 5 compared to 4 out of 20. But you'd probably write them both off, really, wouldn't you? You wouldn't bet your house on either of them getting a clean sheet with those figures. So maybe a surprising result. So why might that happen? Let's take a look at that. So basically, the reason Villa have done pretty well out of this game is the way that that good teams set up away from home, essentially. So what we'll see in this game is Chelsea, because they're away, they'll set up with a normal mentality, whereas at home they'd be attacking. So what they means is, so when Chelsea played Derby in game week 1, you'd have seen the wingers here. Gronkjar, it wasn't Gronkjar that played, it was Carboni and Zenden, but the wingers would be pushing up a bit higher, and it'd be a more attacking emphasis for Chelsea at home. But because they're playing away, they play with this normal mentality, so they kind of invite Aston Villa onto them in this fixture. And because Villa have got pretty good players up front, they've got 3 really good strikers, Dublin, Angel, Balaban. They've got the likes of Ginola, Merson, Hadji, not as young as they used to be, but they've got good attacking stats. So the way Chelsea set up away from home, it sort of gives them an opportunity, and it leads to them being capable of winning the game. So if you just compare that, so from the same sim, this is Chelsea versus Aston Villa, but at Stamford Bridge, and you can see the difference. So Chelsea at home, they'll set up attacking, and you can see what I was saying just there. Carboni will be pushing right on in the home game, and it'll be the same for Villa. That at home they'll play more attacking, and away they'll play more defensive. So it all comes together to mean that when Chelsea play Villa at Villa Park, Villa are attacking, Chelsea invite them on a little bit, and it leads to Villa being capable of getting a result. Whereas at Stamford Bridge, Villa will sit back, Chelsea will attack, and Chelsea will win the majority of the games. So hopefully that explains why we're seeing that Villa have got a good chance of getting a result in this game and scoring some goals. But as we saw, if we just go back a second, Chelsea could still win the game. They could definitely still score some goals. It doesn't really matter who wins the game, does it? If as long as you're getting the returns somewhere. So I think this one will be a bit like the Millwall Man City game in game week 1. It sort of doesn't really matter who wins. There's points up for grabs from either team. So just a couple of screenshots then for this one. So seeing Desai doing well again. I said that in game week 1. He didn't get the bonus, but he did get a goal to make up for it. But again, Desai very good. In this one, for Villa, we're seeing Hadji doing well. He didn't play in game week 1, which is a bit of a worry for me because I've got him in my squad, thinking, well, when we've got blanks in game week 2, he can come in and do a job. So I'm hoping he comes into the squad for game week 2. But I'm seeing Hadji do well. Any of the Villa front 3, Balaban, Dublin, Angel, doing pretty well. Chelsea, much the same as I said in game week 1. Really difficult to predict who'll get their returns. Really spread out. Carboni's on set pieces, so percent chance. But yeah, their goals really spread out. Difficult to predict who'll play up front for them. So here's another one where it was 3-3. Say 3 different goal scorers for Chelsea. Ginola, Hitzelsberger. That was Hitzelsberger's 1 appearance of the season when I looked. But just to show you know, the goals are really spread out. Final one then. Again, Chelsea have scored 3 times, 3 different goal scorers. One of them off the bench. That was quite common actually. Someone coming off the bench to score for Chelsea. Again, Ginola scored again. So that's it for the Villa Chelsea. Next one, Charlton Man United. 20 wins out of 20 for Man United, which is crazy really. So yeah, we all know what happened, don't we? Charlton will win 1-0, maybe. But if you want to play the percentages, Man United are probably going to win the game, aren't they? 2.5 goals a game average, Charlton averaging less than a goal a game. Plenty of clean sheets for Man United, a good 50% chance it looks like. Some high scoring games. Man United are probably going to win. That isn't really news, is it? Let's not dwell on it. A few screenshots then. A 2-0 win for United. So I was seeing a variation of partners for Ruud van Nistelrooy in my sims. You'd probably expect it to be Dwight York, but I was seeing Andy Cole or Dwight York. But what stood out to me is quite often whoever's partnering Ruud, they tended to get in on the action. So there's one where Andy Cole scored. Here's another one where Dwight York scored. 4-2, another high scoring game. Just again illustrating that Van Nistelrooy's partner doing well. Here's one where Ruud did it all himself, which of course could also happen. He's an absolute beast, isn't he? So he's capable of scoring multiple goals in this game. I picked this one out because I had a bit of a chuckle to myself. Dwight York, he's played 90 minutes there and he's finished on 93 condition, not far behind Barthez. I'd like to have seen his heat map for that game. I'm thinking he didn't move much. Just let Ruud get on with it. And 6-4, the kind of crazy result you can get from CM. It was actually Cole and York up front for this one. I'd be surprised if that happened for us in game week 2. It's an away game, so United should play the strongest 11 available to them. As I mentioned in week 1, I can't replicate the fixture list in the same order, so there might have been something going on here which gave more weight to Rude not playing. But I'd be surprised if that happened. But yeah, again, say another illustration, high scoring game, Man United are likely to win, they're likely to score multiple goals. Charlton capable of scoring themselves, but don't think many people will be banking on Charlton assets. So another one here, 3-2. So again, Charlton scored a couple of goals. They can do it, but they just somehow found a way to lose every time. Ruud van Nistelrooy. So I picked this one out. This just highlights why he's such a beast when it comes to bonus. 25 headers competed for. You see this a lot with Ruud. This is why he picks up consistent bonus. Just the amount of headers he contests, wins a decent amount of them. Key headers as well. Just edged out by Beckham for man of the match, who got a hat-trick of assists in this one. Okay, so that's it for Charlton Man United. Yeah, United looking good for the win, as you'd expect. Derby versus Ipswich. 20 sims of this. So, Derby edging it. Nearly, pushing 2 goals a game average. 13 wins out of 20. Only 3 wins for Ipswich. Only 1 clean sheet for Ipswich. So I'd say again, same as week 1. That came in, didn't it? The clean sheet wipeout for Ipswich at home to Leicester. That came in for us, didn't it? The sim data showed that Leicester looked good to score. It came off, and same again for Derby this week. Derby don't have the best team in the game, so they're the most exciting team. But you'd expect them to hit between sort of 30 and 50 points in the season, which is a reasonable amount of points. And this is a game where the sim data is showing the percent chance. This will be a game that they could pick up some points in. So could be a tough start to the season for Ipswich. Few screenshots then. So just a few screenshots to illustrate that Derby's goals. It's much easier to sort of focus in on where the points from Derby might come. So say which I was saying with Chelsea before, it's really difficult to nail down where their points might come from. For Derby, when it looks like they're going to win a game, it's much easier to narrow it down. You're likely to see returns from Christie, Valakari, Ravanelli, Craig Burley. And anyone else you've got would be a bonus really, but it's much easier to pick out Derby's main men. So here's one you can see, Valakari and Christie have both returned. I think Burley had an assist in this one as well. For Ipswich, Marcus Stewart up front, a good player for them, always capable whatever the result. You got Hariderson bonus there as well. Another thing we touched on last week, Ipswich centre-backs, even if they concede goals, good for high scores. So here's another Derby win. So again, as I was saying, Ravanelli, Christie, Burley man of the match. The people you'd expect to return are returning for Derby. A different 3-2 win, another goal for Valakari, another goal for Christie. Lescott's chipped in with one here. Another goal for Stewart. Hariderson again with another 8 and a goal. Bramwell's got a 7 even though he's conceded 3 and been booked. So that's Derby Ipswich. Everton versus Borough. So Borough edging it slightly in this one. Borough look a little bit better in terms of scoring some goals. Everton capable of grabbing a win though. It just tends to be, if Everton are going to win, it'll probably be a low scoring game, whereas if Middlesbrough get going, you're likely to see a higher scoring game. So if you're looking for Middlesbrough returns, you'd probably want them to go in front. If Everton get themselves in front, I'd be worried with Middlesbrough assets that Everton have got a chance of closing out the game. But there's nothing you can do about that in advance. It's kind of that'll be a wait and see on the night. So wouldn't be put off having Middlesbrough attacking assets. They do look better in terms of goals scored. But yeah, it wouldn't be a massive shock if Everton got something out of it. Again, with clean sheets, quite low numbers, you wouldn't put your house on either of them to keep a clean sheet. So a few screenshots then. Noel Whelan, so obviously some of you will still have Noel Whelan in your squad, so I'll show you one here where he scored a brace. It can happen. He is a good player, even though he is only 4.5 million. He's only 4.5 million because you'd expect Boxic and Rickard to start when they're fit. But obviously with Rickard being out, Whelan's going to play, and he is a good player. He can get you the returns. 3-1 win for Middlesbrough here. What I'm going to highlight in a couple of screenshots here is I know a lot of you are getting excited about Zepeda after week 1. So just want to show you here sort of something that stood out to me in terms of comparing Zepeda to Alan Johnston on the opposite wing. So Johnston did get a return in week 1, to be fair, but what I've noticed quite a lot, if you look at the Middlesbrough stats in this fixture, is look how involved Zepeda is compared to Alan Johnston. 62 passes completed compared to 29, 46 completed compared to 20. You've got key passes from Zepeda. He's got an assist and a 9 compared to 7. So they've both played 90 minutes, but a really big difference in how involved each one is in the game. So another one here, so it's 3-1 again, but this is a different game. It was closer between Zepeda and Johnson this time, to be fair, but Zepeda has got 2 assists and an 8. And this one here, so Everton actually won this one 3-2, but again you see the contrast between Zepeda's involvement in the game compared to Johnston. They've both played 90 minutes. But Zepeda much more involved, man of the match, an assist, a goal. Johnston not up to much. So final one, I think then, 2-1 win for Middlesbrough, and yeah, another Noel Whelan goal. So there you go. And another 8 for Zepeda, and again, 48 passes compared to 20. So again, more than double the contributions compared to Alan Johnston on the other wing. Okay, next one, Leeds Millwall. So no prizes for guessing that Leeds dominate this game. Over 2 goals a game, average really high. 17 wins out of 20. Zip for Millwall. They're scoring less than a goal a game. So I think only once Millwall managed more than a goal. So 19 times out of 20 they've either not scored or they've only scored once. Leeds, they've banged in a 4 there, a 5, a 6, another 4, a few 3s. So looking like a comfortable win for Leeds, as you'd expect. So a few screenshots then. What we've got here, I think, to be honest, I think I've only picked this out because I've got Severese in my team and just wanted to calm myself down that he could still get something from the game, because I'm going to need him because we've got blanks in game week 2. So yeah, it doesn't matter what the result is, as long as you get something from someone from the team that loses, if you've got them. So 2-2 here. Again, Savarese scored again. I can't think why I included it other than that. Looking at it. So so Kuhl goal, man of the match. Viduka goal looks good for that through the fixture. Bowyer doesn't play in this one, but I've seen Bowyer do well in this fixture as well if he plays. I think the things to look out for in this one is Leeds rotation. It is a rep 12 game, or I think Millwall might be 13 or 14 actually, but the same principle applies. Leeds high reputation team at home against a low reputation team. You could get some big names that don't play in this game potentially. Nothing you can really do about it, but it's just one of those things. It could happen. Don't be surprised if it happens. Here's a 5-0 Leeds. I think Bridges must have had plans that evening because he was not fucking around, was he? 4 goals in 20 minutes. And Viduka did actually play in that game. It was Bridges and Viduka up front with Keane in behind. So Bridges absolutely smashed that one. And the biggest win we saw, 6-1 for Leeds. Viduka hat-trick, that would be more popular than Bridges scoring 4 times, wouldn't it? Viduka hat-trick, Bridges got 1, Kuehl 1, Ian Hart 2 assists. So this is one where Leeds didn't really rotate. They pretty much played their strongest team, and this is what can happen. Okay, that's Leeds Millwall. Leicester versus Spurs. Bit of a coin toss, this one. This is a bit like game week 1 for Spurs with Blackburn, where I said either team are capable of scoring goals, either team could win. This is just classic Spurs. They can't defend for toffee, but on their day they can whack in 3 or 4 goals, and that's what you're seeing here. Spurs just edging it, percent chance for goals, but both got 9 wins out of 20. Leicester edging it for clean sheets, which doesn't surprise me, and Spurs, as I mentioned, just can't defend. Wouldn't back them for a clean sheet with anyone's money. But you can get returns from them regardless because they can score so many goals. So here's one where they finished 3-3. Fortune man of the match. So I picked this one because I was seeing from Spurs, they play with their wing backs. So whoever was playing in those positions, Ziege, Fortune, Anderton, they seem to be doing pretty well for whatever reason. So there's one where Fortune got man of the match from one of the full-back positions, but as I say, it could be Ziege, it could be Anderton. It's a position that looks good for Spurs. And Muzzy as it scored here, which was another common theme through the Sims. Muzzy is it doing well in the games where Leicester got some goals. So that's kind of it for Leicester Spurs. Bit of a coin toss. Expect lots of goals. Don't expect Spurs to keep a clean sheet. Man City Sunderland. Looks good for Man City. Bit nervous about this one because I said the same about Watford last week, and then Sunderland turned them over. But can they defy my sim data 2 weeks in a row? We'll wait and see. But we've got to go with the data that's in front of us for now. So City look good, over 2 goals a game on average. Sunderland under 1. Kevin Phillips getting that odd one more often than not, as you'd expect. But yeah, City look good to win the game. Another one where I wouldn't pin too much hope on a clean sheet for either team, really. So here's a couple of screenshots. So what I wanted to point out on these screenshots is Emerson Tome. So I think it's fairly widely known that he's a bonus machine. And as we looked at with Rude earlier, it's because he normally contests more headers than anyone else in the match. So you can see that here. He's contested more headers than anyone for Sunderland. He's won 7 of them, which I think was pretty good. Or he's only lost 2 headers out of 9, and he's come out with a 9 for bonus. But actually what happened in this game, not that you'd care if you held him because he's still got a 9 and bonus, But the two headers that he lost, first one, loses a header against, how do you say that, Colismo? That's it, I'm not going to try that again. Tome loses that header, goal. Second header he loses against One Shot, goal. So he's coming out of that with 3 bonus, but actually the 2 headers he's lost has led directly to goals. But CM Fantasy doesn't care about that, I suppose. Here's another one with a Sunderland win. So as I was saying, Kevin Phillips, if Sunderland do score goals, it's no big news, but expect Kevin Phillips to be involved. And Gary Teal is the other one, looks good for a goal or assist, if anyone. Svensson was often man of the match for City. It was a good game for him for whatever reason. One Chop and Huckabee good for goals, but quite often Anders Svensson would come out man of the match. So this was the biggest win for City, 5-1. And we saw this with Watford with the Watford Sims in game week 1. Actually, City actually won one of those 5-1 as well, didn't they? So I think we might see through the season, eventually Man City have got it in them to run riot. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen a few times through the season, I reckon, where City go off. Will it be this week? Who knows? Could be. So another one where Svensson's got 10, although Flitcroft is taken man of the match. Svensson another 10. One Chop and Huckabee with goals, as I was saying, quite common. Another one where Svensson's got 10 and a brace. Tiato, popular pick, stole man of the match from him again though. So a couple of times there Spencer's got 10, but someone else has taken man of the match. Phillips with the odd goal, again, as I was saying. A 2-0 win for City. One Chop and Huckabee, goals up front, again, as I was saying. Pinpointing where the returns might come from. The front two and Svensson and Tiato look good for Man City. Okay, that's that. So only 8 fixtures this week. So finally, Newcastle Watford. So Newcastle averaging over 2 goals a game, just about. Looked good for the win, over 50% chance. Clean sheet, not bad, but wouldn't put your house on it. Watford look all right to score some goals, don't they? There's not too many blanks, well, there's 6 blanks because Newcastle kept 6 clean sheets. But if you're panicking about Petkov from week 1, you think, oh, he's done nothing at home in a winnable game, and now he's going away to Newcastle. I wouldn't panic about it. Maybe a bit biased because he's in my team, but definitely seeing plenty of sims where Petkov is involved in some Watford goals. Wouldn't surprise me if he gets off the mark this week. Watford well capable of scoring in this game. Doesn't matter if they lose, does it, if Petkov gets something? So a few screenshots. So it's a 4-0 win for Newcastle. So Stephen Hughes dominating. He looks a really good pick. He looks a really good pick for the season. It did well in week 1. He looks on the cards to maybe get something in week 2 as well. Bellamy's got a goal there, so I was seeing a range of partners for Alan Shearer in this. Sometimes Court, sometimes Bellamy, sometimes Luar. So this is a rep game. Newcastle have got a much higher rep than Watford. So I don't know, maybe Court could be one of the players that gets rotated. Newcastle have got lots of strikers. Maybe it's seeing this as an opportunity to give one of the other strikers some minutes. I was seeing it quite a lot. Another one where Newcastle has scored 4. So again, Hughes has got another goal and a 9 there. Shearer, man of the match. Again, Amiobi played this time and scored. Is a 3-2 win for Newcastle. This one Court did play and scored. Shearer scored again. So whatever the front two is for Newcastle, it looks good. Petkov took a penalty here, so fingers crossed he will be the penalty taker for Watford, certainly from my perspective. But yeah, he's on set pieces, could well be their penalty taker. So as I say, even in defeat, he can get something. He's a good player. This is a different 3-2 win. So again, Petkov's got an assist here. Helgeson's got a goal. He was the other one alongside Petkov. Helgeson was the one that stood out as most likely to get something out of the game from a Watford perspective. So that's it. So that's 20 sims of the 8 fixtures we'll be seeing in game week 2. So good luck with it. Be sure to watch the stream from the official count on Sunday night, or watch it back if it's gone past that and you haven't seen it. You'll get all the latest news from the actual game file that we're playing from that stream from the official count, and hopefully that combined with this gives us half a chance of getting some things right. It looks like there'll be some transfer news coming out. I saw a tweet today that there's been 2 transfers between Premier League clubs. So in the game week 3 preview next week, we'll look at the sims of the fixtures again as we've done today, and we'll also look at whatever those 2 moves are, whoever those guys are, and whatever clubs they've gone to. We'll also look at how those guys get on at their new clubs over 10 or 20 sims, time permitting. We'll look at how those guys might do at their new clubs next week as well. So hopefully you'll come back for that. Good luck with game week 2, and thanks everybody. Cheers.